Hello and welcome to How to Homeschool in High School, the podcast focused on encouraging and equipping you to homeschool through high school, hosted by a high school teen. My name is Nadine Loffer, and on today's episode, we are joined by special guest Naomi. So I first met Naomi through Instagram. She's another homeschool influencer, so her reel popped up on my page one day and I absolutely fell in love with what she's doing, encouraging the homeschooling community and just being a light and a voice for us through social media. So I absolutely had to have her on the show and I'm so grateful this worked out. We talk about so much in this episode and I especially love her opportunities she's had as a homeschooler, very unique. She does band, sports, her YouTube channel. She loves what she does for her job. So everything in this episode I think is really good for all homeschoolers to listen to, especially those of us who are younger, maybe early on in our high school experience. I think this will be great for you guys to listen to. So without further ado, let's dive into this episode. All right. Hello and welcome to How to Homeschool in High School, Naomi. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm really excited to talk about everything that you do with homeschooling because I've watched a few of your videos. And first of all, I just want to say I absolutely love your content. Like every time a reel pops up on my page, it always puts a smile on my face.
Thank you so much. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're doing what you're doing because I think it's hard sometimes to put ourselves out there and kind of share our lives. I know I have a ton of reels in my saved draft that I have not posted yet. So you have a lot more bravery than I do in that area. So I admire you a lot for what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I encourage you to keep going because it makes such a difference and it encourages me. And I know I'm probably one of many people who are encouraged by you. So it's really important.
Thank you so much.
So we'll just dive into the interview the same way I always start, which is just, can you tell us a bit about how you got started homeschooling?
So I was going to a private Christian school until I was in 4th grade. And until then, we were having a pretty good time. It's a school, so yeah, as good as you can have. And there was a point where my mom was just like, it was just, we want to homeschool kind of. And there was kind of a lot that went into it. She didn't actually tell me. I was in 4th grade. So we didn't actually know until like the awards ceremony, the last day of school. So we were like, oh, homeschooling. And I had to ask my mom this because I realized I never asked this question. Like I've never asked like, wait, why did we homeschool when like it was just always a thing. Mm-hmm. And so our parents had told us at the award ceremony at like the end of school. And apparently we were really excited. We were like jumping up and down, like, oh my goodness, we're homeschooling. Like, this is amazing. I don't remember having that emotion. I don't really remember anything that went on. I just remember I was like sad to leave my friends because I had made some good relationships, and it ended up that like a lot of people actually left that school that year. So it was like, oh, we're not the only ones. I don't feel left out, And there was kind of a lot of reasons why, but the main one was like, we just wanted to spend more time together as a family because we were leaving 6:30 in the morning and not coming home till like 3. So we would have all day school. And I remember we were in Awanas on Wednesday nights, and it would be like, we would finish school, we would go to Awanas, and then we would be so exhausted after because we just did a whole day of school and then Awanas. So it's like, we were just so tired and so worn out. And I think that's a lot of what went into it. My mom being like, we need to homeschool.
Yeah, no, I get that a lot. I mean, I was in 4th grade when my mom pulled us out, which is kind of funny that it's the same. And I had a similar kind of reaction. I think we were all really excited and a lot of our friends were leaving school as well. But yeah, it was an interesting like whole process with telling my friends that I was going and something new, something exciting. But I like how you guys wanted to spend more time together because it is true. In a traditional, like what's become common now is that we're not at home like all day and then we show up and then you're like, eat dinner and go to bed and start again.
I know.
6 is so early.
Yeah. Well, okay. My dad is a teacher at the school I went to. So he had to be there early and it was not like, it was weird if he left and then like an hour later, my mom left with us. So it was just like easier that way. But it also was a pain that we had to wake up early and go to bed late or go to bed early.
Earlier. Yeah. Early. Yeah, that is early, but it does make sense. So is he still teaching there even when you guys are? Yeah, okay, cool. So does he do your history for you or do you guys use it?
Sometimes. More like we just use a curriculum, but he used to like add things into it, or like teach us more things, or like this is what, and he was like a nerd with it, so he would like
Yeah.
really take us deep, which is fun.
That is fun. I like my mom is very passionate about English. Like that was her major. And so whenever we're in English, she's just so excited about it and she just wants to share all these things. So it's
Yeah.
fun when your parents are into a subject. Um,
Uh-huh.
so what grade are you currently in now?
I'm in 10th grade.
Okay, nice. And what are the main differences that you've noticed versus your earlier schooling and then now?
Um,
I sprung that one on you. I'm
well,
sorry.
I know it's fine. You said the differences?
So like you were in a place and I was too where we were with our friends all the time. Like now
Hmm.
you're at home all the time, which is another amazing blessing. So is that been like a major thing that you've noticed in your schooling or has it just kind of become normal?
It's just kind of become
Yeah,
normal,
yeah.
honestly, because I have friends, and the thing is, I still see them. Like, I'm still
Yeah.
able to get in contact with them and like see them and hang out. So it's not like I'm losing anything,
Hmm.
except like
Yeah.
obviously the school environment.
Yeah. No, no, that makes sense. Same with me. I mean, we were still connected with the friends we had in public
Mhm.
school and we made new friends with our co-op that we were using for school. But yeah, it really was a deeper, I feel like my relationship with my family just grew immediately,
Yes.
being with them. And that was more valuable to me than the school environment
Yep.
that I was leaving.
Hmm.
So yeah, similar. So how do you do high school? So what does your normal high school look like? What curriculums do you use?
So when I first started homeschooling, I used the Sunlight curriculum,
Okay.
and I also used Matthew C for my math, which did
Mm.
not end up working out just because I learned differently and that. But we kind of like all, it's kind of funny. All of us do like totally different curriculums, and
Yeah.
we're kind of just like spread out all over the place. So we've done master books, which is a pretty popular,
Mm.
um, and not grass, which is what we did for history the past 2 years. And I really like my math right now. So I do an in-person class.
Mm.
And he has like his own curriculum he does, but that's how I learn the best is like in person, showing everything,
Yeah.
teaching, and like all of his tests are very well laid out. And that's what works for me. I still don't like math, but like the math class is good for me. Like it just
Yeah.
works.
That's neat because I feel like I understand a lot where you're coming from. Online programs or books for math, unless your parents are very, good at explaining it and they understand it, which normally sometimes isn't always the case, it can be
Yeah.
really hard to
Mhm.
understand fully what's going on, especially if you guys are
Yeah,
both
it's still a
confused.
struggle.
Yeah.
It's still a struggle, but like
Yeah.
it's a lot better because I was like right when we started homeschooling, I kind of went from curriculum to curriculum, and I was like, what works for me? Because none of the math was
Yeah.
like teaching the way that I could learn the best. But we
Mhm.
found it, and it's very nice.
Yeah, and that's another amazing thing about homeschooling is you mentioned how your family's all doing different things. So you
Hmm.
can discover what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and then
Exactly.
it might work for your sibling, but it might not work for you. So
Hmm.
it's just that customizing your education, which is so
Yeah.
wonderful. So I'm glad you're able to find that. That's a that's a really nice resource. And is it with other homeschoolers as well? Or is it just like a
Yes.
yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that you did do you still do any sunlight curriculum? Because I have never used that before, so I don't know
No.
anything about it necessarily, but you liked it?
Yes. I don't
Okay.
remember that much because I was in like fifth and sixth grade, but
Okay.
I do
Okay.
remember liking it.
So are you doing any like dual enrollment classes in your future or not really your thing?
I'm gonna start that next year.
Oh, cool. Nice. Okay. So
Oh.
that's exactly what we did. It was 11th grade when I
Mhm.
started dual enrollment. So do you have any idea of what you're going to do?
No.
Like what classes? No.
No.
It's kind of, I didn't know
Waiting for
either.
it.
I didn't know
Uh-huh.
until, I don't know, we signed up a few months before and then I'm like, okay, well, we'll do this one. So it's kind of
Yeah.
just, it's laid back, but I think it's one of the best experiences you can have as a high schooler, especially when homeschooling and you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your future. It's a
Hmm.
great thing to do. So is majority of your work online or books? Do you have a preference?
Um, I think it's most of it's online,
Okay.
and I do like online. The only books that I have are history.
Okay,
So,
same, same. Yeah, we use Knotgrass for a lot of my high school history. It's a very good curriculum. But
mhm.
yeah, So thank you for sharing that and all your high school resources. I like to ask because it gives my listeners more options than what I do solely. So we can get more of a wide view of all the amazing resources we have available to us. So another thing that I stress a lot about homeschooling is community, building your homeschooling community with homeschoolers and conventional schoolers alike, just having some people around you. So what is your homeschooling excuse me. What does your homeschooling community look like for you?
So I go to a church where almost everybody in youth is homeschooled, which is
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
So
Yeah.
we like to do get-togethers. We're doing like contra dances and bonfires, and we like to like have that community because we're all free most days. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
work and stuff, but like it's awesome that like we join this church. We're like, oh my goodness, everybody's homeschooled. That's so cool. Because like
Yeah.
I was always nervous that like that was one of the things, like no socializing. We're just stuck at home. What do we do? Where do we go? So I love my church community, how like we're all
Mhm.
homeschooled with most of us, and it's really
Yeah.
nice. And then also just like having sports. I do
Mm.
volleyball and my brothers do basketball. So having sports and like going to that co-op where like we just have sports and like we play sports and we make those friends. And also planning field trips is really
Mm.
nice. Like we're going to the zoo soon and I'm excited about that.
Oh,
Like
that's so fun.
planning stuff with friends and just being able to socialize in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, so you mentioned sports. So how do you guys do that? Is it through a co-op local to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
That sounds very similar to the way that ours is kind of operated because you don't attend the co-op, but yet you're still able to do their sports. Is that kind of
Yeah, right
sim-
now it's kind of a new co-op. So right now it's just sports and then we're
Oh,
gonna
okay.
like grow.
How cool.
So
Nice. And then how does that work exactly? Do you guys like who do you compete against?
other homeschoolers.
Okay,
So
nice.
other like homeschool schools. That makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah. Do you guys do Christian schools too, or is just
Yes.
homeschoolers? Christian schools. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's how we do too. But we don't have many other homeschool groups around us. Do you guys have quite a few other sports teams, homeschool sports teams around you, or?
Probably like two or three.
Okay,
It's not a
that's
lot.
really nice. And how did you guys find out about it?
Through, I think, our friends. I think my mom was like friends with the starter of the co-op and like
Hmm.
they became friends. They were already friends and like, yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, word of mouth, especially through your homeschooling community, really gives
Mhm.
you some cool options. So, yeah, it sounds like you guys have built a nice community around yourselves. That's really important. And I love your friends from church. That's so awesome that you guys
I
are all
know.
homeschoolers. And now that I think about it, the church I go to, all of my friends are also homeschoolers. That just dawned on me right now. That's true.
Oh.
It's cool. It's nice to have them so close,
Hmm.
your home church and everything. So, yeah, cool. So, do you guys go on a lot of field trips, oh, here we go. Do you guys, as a like teens, choose where you guys go, or is it kind of like your parents decide? Like, how do you guys do that?
Well, it kind of depends.
Mhm.
Like for this one, we're going to the zoo soon, and I'm going with a couple of my friends, and it was kind of our moms just like, "Do you guys want to go to the zoo?" And
Yeah,
they're like, "Yeah, let's go to the zoo. Let's invite so and so." And we're like, "Okay, like we'll go. It's always
yeah,
fun." So,
yeah. You have to put in the effort to
mhm.
kind of build those opportunities with your group. So that's super
Yeah.
fun. And do you guys do a lot of dances and stuff? We have quite a few here.
I would say like probably once a month or every other month. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Do you have a favorite type?
I like line dancing.
Okay. And I don't know. Okay, line dancing, is it kind of like I'm trying to think. Like what exactly is it?
It's like okay, so it's called contra dance. That's kind of
Okay.
what it is. But like you're just kind of all in a line and you dance together. That's not a good explanation.
Oh, okay.
And
Is
you kind of go like up and down and you do different spins and
Yeah,
tricks and
those are super fun. We've done a lot of Regency. Do you guys do any Regency?
no, I don't think
Like
so.
English country? Those are fun too.
Maybe.
Um, it's funny how different areas do different things because those are
I
really
know.
huge in Pennsylvania, like all the time, Regency dances. We just did a square dance, so that was fun. I've never been to one before.
Ooh,
So
I've never done that.
it's kind of similar to that idea. Where you're just
Mhm.
kind of dancing in a circle or you're dancing in like a group of six.
Yeah.
doing all that stuff. So it's just fun. I like how homeschoolers do that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, we all seem to do them, and it's super
I
fun.
know, it's like just a homeschool thing. Let's go do a dance. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I think honestly, I've been to homeschool prom before, and I prefer the other, like the Regency, the square dance sort of thing. I don't
mhm.
know. It's just, to me it's more fun having like choreographed dances and working together. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a homeschool prom before? Do you guys have those around?
No.
No. Okay.
We have them, but I just
Yeah.
haven't because
Yeah, and I didn't go either until what? My junior year. There you go. So
yeah.
I really didn't have
I'll
a
probably go
desire.
next year.
Yeah, I really didn't
I
have a
know.
desire because I've been
Same.
to so many of the other ones before, and I was just like, this is, this is fun. I'm good with these. But how cool. So do you have you know what? I also saw on your video that you do band.
Yes.
How do you guys do that?
Okay. So the director, he actually teaches where my dad teaches.
Okay.
So he does band there. So he also started a homeschool because a lot of his kids are in band, or
Okay.
a lot of his kids are homeschooled.
Mhm.
So he started this band and we're like, oh my goodness, let's do band. So yeah, now I'm doing saxophone and flute in band, and it's really nice. It's like every Tuesday night,
Mhm.
and it's like all homeschoolers. So
How cool. I love these people starting these things.
I
We
know.
need more. That's so awesome. And do you guys like perform, or do you just practice together?
Yes, we do concerts in the summer or in the spring and like Christmas.
Okay. Oh, that's fun. So
I know,
Christmas music
it's
and all that.
nice.
That's so fun.
Yeah,
And how big is it?
it's pretty small. It's like not huge,
Mhm.
but it's a decent size.
Cool. And have you always played the flute and saxophone? Or is that
I
something new?
started in sixth grade.
Okay. Wow. So you
Yeah,
have been playing for a long time.
yeah.
That's awesome. I have no idea how to play any wind instruments. Like, no idea. Is it hard? Or is it just,
Yeah, to an
yeah?
extent, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like fun. Yeah, my sister plays the violin and I play the piano, but that's the extent of our musical instruments in the family.
I played piano for a long time, like from kindergarten actually
Oh,
to
wow.
like
Mhm.
I think it was sixth or seventh grade, and then I just switched to saxophone because I got tired of the piano. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to try something new. So,
It's nice to have an instrument you can travel with.
mhm.
That's really nice.
Yeah, I never
Um,
thought of that.
yeah, because you go to
Can't
your
travel a
grandma's
piano.
house. Exactly. I'm like, I would love to show you my song I'm practicing, but I cannot take my piano here. It's like, so we don't have a homeschool band near us. So hopefully someone listening will make one for us.
Yes.
That's so nice. And then this kind of leads well into the question. I feel like I kind of asked this already, but we'll ask it again. Do you ever feel like you're missing out on anything as a homeschooler? And I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this question because I feel like the answer is always obviously yes, we're missing out on things, but there's also a lot of things we have available to us. So,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on that?
My answer is no. Like
No, yeah.
I I don't feel like I'm missing out because I feel like I get more than if someone from a traditional school, is that
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like I get more because we're homeschooled and we can do so much more things.
Yeah.
And like you just I don't feel like I'm ever missing out on anything. Like maybe prom, but like I'm kind of young for prom anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like I don't but if you do feel like you're missing out, I feel like one of the things you can do is like you're gonna have to work for it, but you can always try like if you want a prom, get friends together and have a prom. Like,
Mhm.
like don't if you feel like you're missing out, try to find out what you're missing and figure out a way to do that.
Exactly. I think that produces a really great mindset in us as homeschoolers
Hmm.
to kind of work for what we want and have that
Yeah.
problem solving mindset, and just looking for opportunities to build, because honestly in life we're never really going to be handed these things
Hmm.
like they hand them in conventional schooling, something you have to do on your own,
Yeah.
and kind of implement on your own. So that's a good way. It's all about your mindset, really, because
Yeah.
like you said, we have a lot of options available to us, and they're ever
Hmm.
growing, like your
Yeah.
band and your sports team just kind of
Hmm.
coming about. They're ever growing, they're becoming more popular now. So yeah, we have a lot. And what are some of the few your favorite opportunities that you've been given through homeschooling?
I think like really just the opportunity to like spread out, I guess, because when I was first in school, I was always very shy and like I was just there
Mhm.
and I didn't do much. But like now that I'm homeschooled, I feel like I have a better opportunity to like grow, even though you're homeschooled, you're always home. You're literally not. Like I go places every
Yeah.
day. And it's like I have more confidence
Mhm.
and that has really helped. And yeah,
I've got that answer a lot, that the confidence grows in the
I
homeschool
know.
environment. And I don't know, I found that counterintuitive when I first heard it, because for some reason I don't know why I figured it was going to be the opposite. But I think being around your family, being around people who love you all the time, I don't know, the comfort of your home also.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think having a soft place to land if you reach high for your goals, like I always know I have my family behind me when I
Mm-hmm.
start podcasts or do interviews or whatever it may be that
Yeah.
seems like big and kind of unusual for a teen to do, like start a YouTube
Mm-hmm.
channel. We have this confidence about us that's very unique, and I
Yeah.
love seeing that come out in homeschoolers. So how cool. And so that kind of leads well into, what do you believe the biggest blessing of your homeschooling has been so far?
So I feel like definitely working alongside my siblings, like
Mm,
having that relationship with them has been such a blessing and like being able to build a relationship because I feel like I wouldn't have the same if I was still going to school and like I don't think we would be as close as we are now.
mm. Yeah, for sure. Same with me and my sister. It's because you're spending so much time apart too, like you mentioned at the very
I
beginning.
know, yeah. My younger brother
Mhm,
is similar age group as I am, so we do a lot of the same school, which we
mhm.
wouldn't have
Yeah.
done if I was in school. And he's a little bit more ahead of me because I tend to learn differently.
Mhm.
So he's ahead of me in certain subjects and I'm like, well, that's okay because we're homeschooled. Like I'll get caught up when I need to and I'll be able to
Exactly.
graduate with the things I need to graduate with. And like I'm not stressed about it as if I was in school, I'd be like, oh my goodness, I'm behind. Like I have to do this and that and this. But
Mhm.
like we can just be able to take our time with it and still, yeah.
Yeah, and still be on the right pace. I mean, we're not trying to keep
Mm-hmm.
up with anyone. We're just trying to learn the way that we
Yeah.
learn best and get what we need to get done too. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
having that flexibility to just kind of be yourself completely,
Uh-huh.
even in the way that you learn, has been a blessing for me as well. So yeah, and learning alongside your
Yeah.
siblings is so fun. So I want to make sure we have time before our yeah, we're good. To talk about your YouTube channel and how that came
Okay.
about, because that's the reason I was able to find you, and this whole reason the interview is happening. So when did you begin your channel?
I started in January of
Okay.
2024.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that long ago. Um, but I feel like I started it because I saw a lot of other like not a lot, a couple of
Mhm.
like homeschool creators creating content. I'm like, wow, there's actually people that do this. Like,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I had always had in the back of my mind, like, why not like start a channel? Like, but I wasn't gearing towards school. Like, I would have never thought like, oh, I'll make videos about school because
Mhm.
it's school. But
Yeah,
now I'm like, well, it's something that nobody does. Like, I mean, people do
exactly.
it, but not a lot
Yeah.
of people do it. I'm like, well, I want to do something that nobody else does. Like, if no one's doing it, then there's a reason that we should be doing it, I
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah, and that goes right back to the homeschool mindset that we were just talking
Mm-hmm.
about, the parents that start these things because they're not there and they see the void and they fill them. And then I love to see the homeschoolers doing the same thing. They
Mm-hmm.
see a void and something that they think they can fill, and then they actually do it. So that's exactly what you're doing, which is so cool. And yeah, homeschool content, I never thought that it would be something that would, I don't know why. And then all of a sudden I
I
saw
know.
that it existed and that they needed more. So, and then we just
Exactly.
decided to do it. So that's so cool. And what has been I know you're relatively new with your channel, but has there been any response so far from other homeschoolers?
So I got a couple of response of like them being, oh, like I'm a fellow homeschooler. This is cool that you're making a video. I'm like, oh, thanks. Like it's cool how like your videos get to the right people in
Hmm.
a sense
Yeah,
because I didn't realize like everyone that's watching the homeschool video is actually homeschooled because people just watch videos.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, oh, this person's homeschooled and they're like commenting and I was like really excited.
Hmm.
And someone said how like you're like being thanks for like being productive. You're really
Hmm.
helping me feel productive. Like that's the reason I'm doing this. It makes me inspired and want to create more. And just like there was I think there were just like people saying how they're like also homeschoolers or I'm about to start homeschooling, you know, and you're like, oh, this makes me want to like be more authentic and real with my content because I want to show other people that there's a lot of high schoolers that are homeschooled.
Exactly.
And you're not alone in your homeschooling.
It's exactly what I think is so amazing about homeschool content is it reminds us that we're not alone. And then it's also that it's possible, and it's also possible to thrive in your homeschooling. And encouraging other people to be productive. I just watched your video today, one of your videos, and I was just like, the way she's structuring her day, the way she's getting it done, and then having the rest of the day to do like your editing and go outside. And it's just so inspiring to me, like to do my work and then to experience the freedom of homeschooling. And it's just, I don't know, there's something about watching other homeschoolers that just makes me so excited to homeschool. So
I know.
I love that. And so what would the main goal of your channel be? What do you hope to accomplish?
I hope to accomplish like to just be inspiring and real with my content and like always be authentic with what I'm putting out there and hopefully be relatable to some hopefully be relatable to some high schoolers that feel like they're alone or feel like, oh, I'm homeschooled, this is boring, what do I do, how do I stay productive? That mindset of like to change that and be like, well, I'm homeschooled, this is what I can accomplish and kind of how to homeschool.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that you mentioned being real about your experience as well, because I don't know, sometimes I feel like I have a temptation to gloss over the harder parts and be like, oh, no one cares about that, or no one struggles with the same things that I do. But in reality, we want to make sure we share all of it. Like there are some things about homeschooling that can be hard. I think for me, it's just managing my procrastination and staying on topic and staying on keeping focus. But just being real about all that as well. And then the challenge of also being like making sure you build strong relationships with your friends, and putting effort into your social life is also something that can be more challenging. So just talking about those things as well is so important. Sharing the truth in all areas. So yeah, that's awesome. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I can give like, I guess a tip.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like advice is to just keep in a routine, like have a structured routine and schedule, and like schedule your schoolwork the day before or the week before, and being able to stay on top of things, because if you don't, you're going to start, slowly falling and not feeling like, oh, I'm homeschooled, I have to do school today. Like just being able to stay on top of things and have a set routine and building that routine and schedule.
One of the best pieces of advice that we can give homeschoolers is just stay on top of your stuff, because you're right. Whenever you stop, then it just piles up, and all of a sudden you have this mountain of things to accomplish in one day. Like I can't. So, and then it makes school not fun anymore, or
I know,
it makes it less of like I actually want to get up and get started with my day. So do you find that scheduling like a week in advance helps you? I know you mentioned that.
Sometimes it really depends. For me, it can help on certain subjects. Like I know that I have to watch this video, I have to read this thing, I have to take these notes, and then I have to take this test. So I'll schedule the test like at the end of the week and be sure that I have all my studying done by Friday. So, but some things, if it's more of like lessons, like for history, I have lessons. Sometimes I'll do 2 a day if I know I have something the next day. I'll be like, okay, let's work a little bit ahead, kind of that.
All right, well, I think that might be it for today. Thank you so much, Naomi, for sharing everything you did and for coming and talking with us today. How can listeners find you? So I know you're on YouTube. You're also on Instagram. Do you know your handle for both of those?
It should be Naomi Elizabeth.
Perfect. All right. I will link both of them in the show notes of this episode, so you guys can go check all of her amazing content out. And yeah, thank you again for doing this, Naomi.
Thank you so much.
So that is it. Thank you so much, Naomi, for being on the podcast, being a part of what we're doing here with How to Homeschool in High School. We appreciate everything you shared today. And I hope you guys were encouraged by our conversation. If so, it would really help me out if you left a review in whatever podcast platform you are listening on, to help boost the show and reach more homeschoolers and more people with our content. So thank you guys so much for listening again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and continue to be fearlessly different.